So first topic I will cover now. I just revisit because I have already talked about VTP. So what VTP is? Before telling that, let me give you a scenario. We have, let's say, we have multiple switch. Switch 1, we have switch 2, we have switch 3, so on. Switch 4. Now, all these switches want to share a same VLAN informations. So switch 1 to switch 2, then switch 2 to switch 3, switch 3 to switch 4. Let's say these are connected, and let's assume you have created 3 VLAN in switch 1. VLAN 10, VLAN 20, and VLAN 30. You have created this in switch 1. Now you want to use the same thing, the same VLAN information in switch 2. Then again you have to create the same VLAN in switch 2. VLAN 10, VLAN 20 and 30. Now let's assume we want to use the same VLAN with the switch 3 devices. Whatever the devices are connected with switch 3, you want to use the same VLAN in switch 3. So you have to create again VLAN 10, 20, 30. So this process will continue. If you are going to use the same VLAN, these are going to continue. You have to manually create using the VLAN command in each of the switch. But they want to use the same VLAN information so what switch 1 created, initially created. The same VLAN, this switch also going to use all other switches. But to do that, you have to create it manually. Again and again to go every switches CLI command, you have to write that information, that switch port mode access in each switch, then VLAN name, VLAN 10, VLAN 20, name, IT, CSC. This command you have to again and again execute. But if you do manually, this is a really hard task. If you have thousands of switches, let us assume you have thousands of switches and thousands of switches want to use the same VLAN informations, then it's a problem. You have to create manually. But there is a protocol in VLAN, it's called VTP, VLAN trunking protocol. What actually VTP do? VTP, if you use VTP in switches, VTP shares, using the VTP, share same VLAN by default automatically if switch to use the same VLAN. Suppose switch to want to use the same VLAN information what switch 1 created. Then using the VTP, switch 2 can get easily that same VLAN in his system, in the switch system automatically. No need to create it again. No need to create it again in manually. So just switch on will create, and let's say switch to want to use the same VLAN. Just switch to will use the VTP and it will get the same VLAN information automatically to the switch's memory. So what VTP do? So VTP's functionality is sharing same VLAN information, same VLAN information to multiple switches. So this is the work of the VTP, VLAN trunking protocol. Main purpose is sharing same VLAN information to multiple switches. But you need to create the VLAN initially to one switches at least. You have to create the VLAN to one switches at least, and then using VTP, other switches can get those VLAN information to its memory, to that switch's memories. That's the work of the VTP. No need to create it manually again and again to other switches. Just use VTP. You will get the VLAN information that created by another switches. Okay. So let me tell you. Any confusion here till now? Are they listening? I don't know.
Yes.
Can anybody respond me that any confusion?
Hello. Hello.
Yes, still. Am I audible and visible to you?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So this is an online class, maybe because I don't have that enough resources of to make it more convenient to you, but I have those pad where I'm writing. Maybe it's not clearly. I cannot means I'm new to this, so it's required time to get habituated with the pad, writing pad. So just bear with that.
Excuse me, sir.
Tell me that is there any
Hello.
confusion? Yeah, tell me, is there any confusion or not?
सर इसमें कमांड लिखिएगा तो सर इसको रब मत कीजिएगा सर ऑल डाउन कर दीजिएगा मतलब सर कमांड लिखे नहीं तो सर
Not audible. Can you little? The voice is low.
सर कमांड लिखिएगा ना सर तो थोड़ा मतलब स्क्रॉल डाउन करके फिर नेक्स्ट नहीं तो नेक्स्ट पेज में सर आप कुछ भी लिखिएगा सर कमांड वगैरह लिखे नहीं सर आप इरेज कर दीजिए
कमांड नहीं लिखा हूँ मैं, कमांड दिखाऊंगा सीपीटी में, सिस्को पैकेट ट्रेजर में.
ठीक है
Okay. So command I will show in Cisco packet tracer the working of the VTP protocol. The theoretically I'm saying what is VTP is Abhishek, right? So I will show
Okay,
the
sir.
command. I will show the command in Cisco packet tracer. VTP I have already actually covered in midsem. But as it is in endsem, so I am revisiting again. Because VTP was not there in the midsem syllabus. It is in endsem. So that's why I am revisiting the VTP. I will show all the command, don't worry. Okay. So VTP, VLAN trunking protocol, actually have 3 modes. Let me tell you first about the mode. VTP mode. A switch which are using VTP, a switch which are using VTP can have 3 modes. That is called VTP mode. That is, one is server mode, second is client mode, Third one is the transparent mode. Transparent mode. So a switch which are using BTP can have either server or client or transparent. So let me draw. There's a switch. Let's say this is switch 1, which are using BTP. So it can go either server mode or client mode. Let's say it's have server mode. What is server mode? Server mode is that master switch. It's a master switch which create VLAN. Which create VLAN. Master switch which create VLAN. So server switch, don't message me in WhatsApp right now because I am concentrating in the class. If you are just coming here for the attendance, then no need to attend the class. You come, you just WhatsApp me your serial number, I will give the attendance. Okay, so don't say that my internet is not working, this is my serial number, so you please consider. No need to do that. After the class, you just message me the serial number if you are not able to present here. Okay. Now there are three modes: server, client, and transparent. Server, the switch which is server, which create VLAN, initially which create VLAN. And the switch, let's say switch 2, is the client. So in one connection, there will be one server only. In one connection, there will be one network, there will be one server only, BTP server. Rest all are either client or transparent. Either client or transparent. If a switch is client, it receives the VLAN information from the server. Whatever server VLAN is created, that information will receive by the client switch. Let's assume this is the switch 1 is the server. It create 3 VLAN, VLAN 10, 20 and 30. And switch 2, if working as a client, it will get the same VLAN information 10, 20, 30 in its memory. No need to configure. No need to run command for creating this VLAN. Just make it as client, VTP client. That's all. It will receive the VLAN information what server switch is created. Server switch जो VLAN information create करेगा, client switch got those VLAN information, get these VLAN informations. That's all. We have another mode, transparent mode, that I will talk when I will see the configurations. This I will talk later when I will see the BTP configurations. Just understand what is server and client now. Transparent I will talk about when I will see the configurations. Okay, let's move to the configuration now. So let's move to the configuration now. Is it visible? Packet tracer is visible to you?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Great. So let's talk about the configuration now. So I'm going to configure VTP, VLAN trunking protocol, into the switches. Let's take 5 switches. Okay, these are the 5 switches I have taken. Switch 0 to 4. 5 switches is there. Now, I'm connecting switch to switch. Switch 0 to switch 1, switch 1 to switch 2, switch 2 to switch 3, switch 3 to switch 4, and so on. So, which where I require connections where I am connecting switch to switch. Which connection wire is required? Can type in chat. Milind, type which.
Sir, what?
I am connecting switch to switch. I want to connect switch to switch. Switch 0 to switch 1, switch 1 to switch 2. Which connection wire is required? Copper straight through, copper crossover, fiber, phone, coaxial. Which connections wire is required? Switch to switch, same device. Same device. Which connection wire will be required? Am I audible? Okay, great. So some reply came from the Milind, Patra, Shubhashish Patra, Shudipta Tripathi, Akshat, crossover, crossover, crossover. Great. So you required copper crossover. Copper crossover. So I'm connecting switch to switch, copper crossover. Okay. Sorry, I have taken mistakenly copper straight through. This is copper crossover. This is copper straight through. So copper crossover is required if you are connecting same device. Okay. Connection is done. So I want this type of topology where switches will be connected to switches. Only the first and last switches have one connection. Rest all have two connections. Only switch 0 and switch 4 have one connections. Rest all the switches like switch on have two connections. Two connections. Great. Now, this connection established between the switches. So I want to use VTP. The first step to do use VTP in the switches, एक काम करना पड़ेगा. You have to first use it before using VTP. One thing need to do. Let me do one thing. Just 1 minute. 1 minute. Okay. So first work you have to do, the switches which is connected to other switches using an interface. Like switch 0 is connected to switch 1 using the interface FA0 by 1. स्विच 0 का FA0 by 1 इंटरफेस के साथ स्विच 1 का FA0 by 1 इंटरफेस कनेक्टेड है. लाइक दैट स्विच 1 का FA0 by 2 के साथ स्विच 2 का FA0 by 1 connected है. So those interface we first need to make it trunk mode. Those interface will be in the trunk mode. Okay. I'm going to switch 0 into the CLI of the switch 0. CLI of the switch 0. I'm going to the privilege mode. Then I'm going to the config mode. Now, the interface of the switch 0, which is connected to another switches, that port, that interface, I have to select. So I will select here interface FA0 by 1. I have selected that interface FA0 by 1 of switch 0, and that interface I have to make trunk mode. So switch port mode trunk. That's all. So that interface of switch 0, which is connected to another switch, I make that interface of or that port into the trunk mode. That is the first work I have to do when I am going to use VTP in the switches. Now, this done for the switch 0. Switch 0 का एक इंटरफेस ट्रंक में आ गया FA0 by 1 जो स्विच के साथ कनेक्टेड है स्विच 1 के साथ. Same thing you have to do for other switches also. So
सर फॉन्ट साइज थोड़ा बड़ा कर देंगे.
फॉन्ट साइज तो बड़ा इसका नहीं होता है.
सर होगा ये ऑप्शन में जाइए ऊपर वहां पे.
प्लीज गाइड मी.
सर ऑप्शन में जाइए.
हाँ प्रेफरेंस.
हाँ
font CLI font, yeah. Let me do it 18. Apply. Yes. So yes, is it visible now?
Yes sir.
Better?
Yes sir, much better.
Okay. So again, so I go to the switch 0. स्विच 0 का कॉन्फ़िग मोड में गया. फिर मैंने जो इंटरफेस और एक स्विच के साथ कनेक्टेड है, I selected that interface. Then after that, selecting that interface, so I am in that interface. After selecting that, I made that interface into the trunk mode using this command, switch port mode trunk. This is my first work when I am going to use VTP. Then I have to save the configuration. Do right to save the configuration, and then exit from here. That's all. Similar way, I have to go to the.
Excuse me, sir.
Tell.
Sir, some students are in the lobby. Please accept the request.
I have to accept the request. Just a minute. Yes, people too. Ashutosh, Ray, and Shakir. But I cannot. Right now is 8:45. Okay. Anyhow, no issues. So let me go back. So स्विच 0 का मैं ट्रांक मोड में ले गया वो वाला इंटरफेस को. सिमिलरली स्विच 1 में जाते हैं. स्विच 1 में हूं मैं अभी. स्विच 1 में. स्विच 1 का देखो कौन सा इंटरफेस दूसरा स्विच के साथ कनेक्टेड है. स्विच 1 का FA0/1 एंड FA0/2 are connected to other switches. Switch on ka FA0/1. This is my mouse cursor also visible? Mouse cursor?
Yes sir, yes sir, yes sir, visible.
Switch on ka FA0/1, switch 1 ka FA0/2. These two interface connected to other switches. So let me make those interface into the trunk mode. Selecting again config trunk. So I am selecting for the switch 1 which interface? Interface range. Range देता हूँ यहाँ पे. कौन सा? FA0/1 से FA0/2. 0/1 से 0/2. So 0/1 to 2. That's all. This is the range. So I have selected two interface here. 0/1 this one and 0/2 this one. Just put range and FA0/1 to 2. That's all. So select it. Now these two port I have to make the trunk mode. Switch port mode trunk. This I am doing for the switch 1. Trunk mode में हो गया. Do right. And do right will be save the configuration. Do WR or do WRIT and then exit. Done. For the switch 1 it is done. For the switch 2 same thing is need to done. For the switch 2 go to the CLI of the switch 2. Now I am in the CLI of switch 2. EN enable config trunk and I need to select interface range. अभी मेरे को कौन सा इंटरफेस सिलेक्ट करना है. मैं स्विच 2 में हूं. Abhishek, tell the answer.
Sir, interface 1, 2.
हाँ बोलो.
Sir, interface 1 से 2.
1 and 2 of the switch 2. Right. So I'm selecting FA0/1 to 2. Done. So now after selecting that I have to make it trunk. Switch port mode trunk. Done. Switch port mode trunk. दोनों इंटरफेस को कर दिया switch 2 का. Now I have to save the configuration. Do right and then exit. Switch 2 के लिए हो गया. Now let's go to switch 3. Switch 3 में switch 3 में भी दो इंटरफेस है जो दूसरा स्विच के साथ कनेक्टेड है. That is FA0/1 and FA0/2. Right. So do it for that. Let me select interface FA0/1 to 2. selected. Oh, sorry, I have to put range because I'm selecting two at a time, so I have to put the range. Selected. Now I have to do the trunk switch port mode trunk. Done. Do right. Sorry. Switch port mode trunk. TRUNK. Done. Now I have to do right and exit from here. स्विच 3 के लिए हो गया, स्विच 4 के लिए स्विच 4 में मैं हूं. स्विच 4 का कौन सा पोर्ट करना है? स्विच 4 का एक ही पोर्ट और एक ही इंटरफेस कनेक्टेड है दूसरा स्विच के साथ, दैट इज FA0/1. सो आई एम सिलेक्टिंग दैट interface FA. Here I will not put range because I am selecting only one interface FA0/1. But all other cases like switch on, switch 2, switch 3, इन तीनों के लिए दो इंटरफेस सिलेक्ट कर रहा था, इसलिए रेंज पुट कर रहा था दोनों को एक साथ सिलेक्ट करने के लिए. But here I need not to put range because I am selecting only one interface FA0/1. And then
सर थोड़ा रिक्वेस्ट कर लीजिएगा एक्सेप्ट.
हाँ बोलो.
सर थोड़ा कुछ लॉबी में है सर, थोड़ा रिक्वेस्ट एक्सेप्ट कर लीजिए.
अरे यार धीरेन्द्र प्रताप, शशांक
सर
पांडे.
ओपन कर दीजिएगा सर, ओपन कर दीजिए सर, कोई ना कोई सर आएगा ही.
धीरेन्द्र प्रताप एंड शशांक पांडे का क्या हुआ था? पीयूष भी आ रहा है. पीयूष वर्मा. ओके, यही करता रहूं मैं, नहीं पढ़ा के यही करता रहूं, एडमिट एक्सेप्ट करता जाओ रिक्वेस्ट. तुम लोगों का क्या हो रहा है? कनेक्शन क्या चला जा रहा है? डिस्कनेक्ट हो रहा है?
हो सर, हॉस्टल में लाइन आते जाते रहता है ना.
ओके, anyhow, so let me go back again. So interface FA0/1 select किया हूँ switch 4 का, and I am making it as a trunk mode, switch port mode trunk. ये initial step है. This is just an initial step. Exit, do, so do right then exit, do right then exit. So this is just an initial state. हर एक स्विच का हर एक इंटरफेस जो स्विच के साथ कनेक्टेड है उसको ट्रंक मोड में ले गया. दैट्स ऑल. नाउ VTP का जो वर्किंग प्रिंसिपल है उसमें एक स्विच एज ए सर्वर काम करता है, बाकी सब क्लाइंट, आइदर क्लाइंट और ट्रांसपेरेंट. ट्रांसपेरेंट आई विल टॉक लेटर. लेट मी फर्स्ट शो द सर्वर. तो स्विच 0 को मैं सर्वर बनाऊंगा, स्विच 0 को मैं सर्वर बनाऊंगा. हाउ टू डू दैट? So I am in the config mode of the switch 0. Just let me 1 minute. Okay, I am in the switch 0. Now what I will do, I have to make it as a server. So to make it server, just the command is VTP mode server. That's all. This is the command. If I type this, this will be server mode. But it is telling that device mode already VTP server, because जब initially by default सारे device, सारे switches server mode में ही होता है. सारे switches by default server mode में, VTP mode server mode में ही रहता है. But in still you have to make one switches as a server if you are going to use VTP. Rest all are client or transparent. So Still I have typed VTP mode server for the switch 0. Then what I have to do, I have to give this VTP, which I am going to create a domain name, VTP domain. A domain name you have to give. So I'm giving the domain name as ITER. For this VTP operation, the domain name or the VTP name is going to ITER. VTP domain ITER. So it is saying that VTP domain name is changed to ITER. Now you have to set a password for this VTP. VTP password ITER 123. I'm giving a password. Any password you can give. I'm giving VTP password ITER 123. Domain name I give an ITER. So password I give ITER 123. That's all. So this, the VTP is configured in switch 0 as a server. First step, एक switch को मेरे को server mode में लेना है. So that's why I type VTP mode server. Then for that VTP, which one switch working as a server, that VTP name you have to give. And the command is VTP domain ITER. That is the name of the VTP which I going to use. And the password you have to set the password. After that, you have to create the VLAN into the server. Okay, so I'm creating VLAN into this server, switch 0. So switch 0 को मैं server बनाया, इसमें अभी मैं VLAN create करने वाला हूँ. So VLAN का command just write VLAN 10. VLAN created 10 with the ID 10. Name is, let's say CSC. Name is CSC. Done. Then exit.
सर थोड़ा एक्सेप्ट कर लीजिए ना.
हाँ?
थोड़ा एक्सेप्ट कर लीजिए सर.
अरे यार. कोई नहीं आया है.
सर एक मिनट रुक जाइए सर, रुक जाइए.
Okay, so I have created that VLAN into the server switch. The VLAN 10 given the name CSC. Then VLAN 20 I am creating and giving the name as IT. VLAN 30 I am creating, giving the name C. Just a minute, I have a mistake. So VLAN 30 I am creating, giving the name PC. Okay, done. This VLAN I have created into the server switch. Switch 0 is the server switch. Now let me show that what VLAN I have created into the server switch. For that, the command is do show VLAN. If I do that, do show VLAN into the server switch 0, these three you can see VLAN created. VLAN name, this is the VLAN ID, and the name is CSC ITs. This three is created. And by default एक VLAN रहता है जिसका ID रहता है 1. But I have created another 3 VLANs which is 10, 20 and 30 into the switch 0. Switch 0 जो सर्वर स्विच वर्क कर रहा है. ओके, सो दिस इज डन. स्विच 0 का कॉन्फ़िगरेशन एज VTP हो गया. तो स्विच 0 के फर्स्ट में क्या किया? व्हाट आई हैव डन विद द स्विच 0?
सर थोड़ा एक्सेप्ट कर लीजिए ना.
Abhishek, I will make you now remove. If you are going to say again and again, is this joke going on in the classes? I'll not accept, let me tell you, in the next class, I'll not accept any request, whoever requested after 8:10 a.m. I'm writing in the chat, not going to accept any request after 10 minutes of the class. और जो बोलेगा एक्सेप्ट कर लो, like Abhishek is saying right now, I will remove that person. So I have made switch 0 as the server and I have created 3 VLAN into the server. Now let me go to the switch 1. Switch 1 में जाके config mode में जाता हूँ. Now in switch 1 in the config mode, what will happen? I will just first type do show VLAN in the switch 1. Do show VLAN into the switch 1. Now in switch 1 you can see there is no VLAN with the name 10, 20 and 30 CSC IT EC. Switch 1 में just one VLAN है default. There is no other VLAN in the switch 1. Now what I'll do, switch 1 को मैं अभी switch 1 में अभी मैं VLAN VTP config करूंगा. VTP. Just you have to type switch 1 VTP mode client. I'm making the switch 1 as a client VTP. सर्वर BTP switch 0 था. Switch 1 को मैं client BTP में ले रहा हूँ. That's all. VTP mode client. Done. Now you have to give the same domain name, VTP domain ITER. VTP domain ITER. And the same password. VTP password 12 VTP password ITR 123. That. Now switch 1 is now configured as a VTP client with the domain name of the VTP is ITR, the same domain which are using by the switch 0. Remember, same password which are using by the switch 0 जो मैं switch 1 में कर रहा हूँ. Switch 0 था सर्वर, switch 1 को मैं कौन सा मोड में लिया? क्लाइंट मोड. Before doing that, before doing this operation, VTP mode client of the switch 1, I have shown you what the VLAN have in the switch 1. What the VLAN have? Only one VLAN have. That is a default VLAN. No other VLAN with the name VLAN 10, 20, 30. You can see. In switch on me, before doing this client operation, VTP mode client, VTP domain ITR, VTP password. Before doing that, I have run the show VLAN command, and you can see there is no VLAN with the name ITCSC or EC. That VLAN information Who have that information? Switch 0 have. Switch 0 में, ये स्विच 0 में हूं मैं, देखो स्विच 0 में मैं जब शो VLAN इंफॉर्मेशन किया, यहाँ पे मैं 3 VLAN क्रिएट किया था, नेम आईटी, नेम CSC, नेम EC with the VLAN ID 10, 20 and 30. देखो switch 0 who is working as a server, that switch has those VLAN informations like 10, 20, 30. This is has in the switch 0. But switch 1 में वो information वो VLAN में create नहीं किया हुआ, इसलिए वो information नहीं है. But स्विच 1 को मैंने क्या किया, मैंने स्विच 1 को सिर्फ क्लाइंट मोड में लिया और डोमेन नेम सेम दिया, पासवर्ड सेम दिया, व्हिच आर यूजिंग बाय द स्विच 0 सर्वर स्विच. नाउ इफ यू डू शो VLAN into the switch 1, after doing this, after make as a client, after make the domain name ITR, after doing the password ITR 123, if you now show the VLAN information in switch 1, you are going to see what? The same VLAN information is now came to the switch 1, which has in the switch 0. That's the beauty of the VLAN. You need not to create it again into the switch 1. You just make it as a client, give the same domain name, make it as a client, give the same domain name and password. By default, automatically after doing the show VLAN, by default automatically it will get the VLAN information from the server switch. So client will get the same VLAN information from the server switch. That's the working of the VTP. Now again switch 2 में जाता हूं. स्विच 2 में भी मैं सेम चीज करता हूं. Go to the config term mode. Sorry, config term, making it as a VTP mode client. Client mode में ले लिया, same domain name VTP, domain, ITR, TTP, password, ITR 123. Okay. Now switch 2 में अगर मैं अभी do show VLAN करूंगा, then you can see the same VLAN information is now came to the switch 2 also, which server has. Just need to make it as a client, same domain name and password. That's all. Same VLAN information, what server has, by default automatically it will get. Okay. Switch to be client mode में लिया हूं मैं, VTP mode client. और एक मोड होता है ट्रांसपेरेंट मोड. सर्वर दिखा दिया, क्लाइंट दिखा दिया. और एक मोड होता है ट्रांसपेरेंट मोड. स्विच 3 को मैं ट्रांसपेरेंट मोड में लेता हूं और दिखाता हूं एक्चुअली ट्रांसपेरेंट मोड का काम क्या है. स्विच 3 को मैं ट्रांसपेरेंट मोड में ले रहा हूं. To go into the config mode of the switch 3. Now doing one thing. इसका सिर्फ VTP mode transparent. VTP mode transparent. And VTP mode transparent mode में मैं लिया. और सेम डोमेन नेम दो, VTP डोमेन ITR, VTP पासवर्ड ITR 1 2 ITR 1 2 3. Now if you in the switch 3 को मैं ट्रांसपेरेंट मोड में लिया हूं, उसका डोमेन नेम सेम रखा जो सर्वर का डोमेन है, उसका पासवर्ड भी सेम रखा जो सर्वर का पासवर्ड है, बट उसका मोड नॉट क्लाइंट. The mode is transparent for the switch 3. If I make it transparent mode, what will happen? क्लाइंट मोड में क्या हुआ था, सर्वर का सारे VLAN इंफॉर्मेशन क्लाइंट के पास आ गया था. सर्वर में जो जो VLAN में क्रिएट किया था वो क्लाइंट को मिल गया था. बट ट्रांसपेरेंट मोड में अगर डू शो VLAN में करता हूं इस स्विच में, आफ्टर मेकिंग इट एज अ ट्रांसपेरेंट, after the transparent mode of this switch, if I do now show VLAN, do show VLAN, you will see it does not get that VLAN information of the server. नहीं है 10 20 30 CSC ITC नहीं है, ये यहाँ पे ट्रांसपेरेंट वाला स्विच में नहीं है. So it does not get the server VLAN information. If a switch is in transparent mode, it does not get the VLAN information of the server. But what then required? What is the work of the transparent mode? Okay, let me tell you. अभी मैं क्या करता हूं, स्विच 4 में जाता हूं, स्विच 4 को डिक्लाइन करता हूं, क्लाइंट. सो VTP मोड क्लाइंट किसको कर रहा हूं, स्विच 4 को, लास्ट स्विच. VTP डोमेन ITR, VTP पासवर्ड ITR 1 2 3 सेम. ओके, नाउ स्विच 4 में हूं, स्विच 4 को मैं क्लाइंट मोड में लिया हूं, सेम डोमेन नेम ऑफ द सर्वर, सेम पासवर्ड ऑफ द सर्वर. नाउ डूइंग डू शो VLAN, डू शो VLAN करता हूं, इसके पास आ गया, इसके पास सर्वर का VLAN का इंफॉर्मेशन आ गया, 10 20 30 आ गया स्विच 4 के पास. बट why I am showing that switch 3 in between someone sitting which is in the transparent mode, still switch 4 got the VLAN information of the server. स्विच 4 और सर्वर के बीच और बाकी सारे स्विच के बीच एक स्विच बीच में है, दैट इज स्विच 3 which is in transparent mode. ट्रांसपेरेंट मोड वाला स्विच क्या करते हैं, वो सर्वर का VLAN का इंफॉर्मेशन नहीं लेता है, वो सर्वर का VLAN का इंफॉर्मेशन दूसरा स्विच अगर चाहते हैं तो उसको पास कर देता है. दैट्स ऑल. ट्रांसपेरेंट मोड वाला स्विच pass the VLAN information of the server to other switches, other client switches. It does not work as a barrier. अगर इसको ट्रांसपेरेंट हम नहीं करते, लेट assume if I not do it transparent, just make as it is. कोई क्लाइंट, ये क्लाइंट भी नहीं है, ट्रांसपेरेंट भी नहीं है, तब अगर स्विच 4 को तुम अगर क्लाइंट भी करते तो वो जो सर्वर का इंफॉर्मेशन, VLAN का इंफॉर्मेशन उसको नहीं मिलता, क्योंकि इन बिटवीन someone is sitting who is not either client not either transparent. बट अगर ट्रांसपेरेंट करोगे तो वो स्विच VLAN इंफॉर्मेशन सर्वर का नहीं लेता है, इट जस्ट पास द VLAN इंफॉर्मेशन टू अदर स्विचेस. सो व्हाई वी रिक्वायर्ड द ट्रांसपेरेंट स्विच? Transparent switch is required because we don't require that switch will take the same VLAN information of the server, but we want to pass it to other client switches. That's the work of the transparent switches. Transparent switch खुद का VLAN create कर सकता है, but client switch cannot create its own VLAN. सर्वर का VLAN ही उसको यूज करना है, but transparent switch अगर चाहे तो it can create its own VLAN. So this switch is transparent mode. Switch 3 is in transparent mode. Switch 3 transparent mode में है. I have make it transparent mode and I have make it domain IT here. Password same as a server. जब do show VLAN किया तो वो सर्वर का कोई VLAN का इंफॉर्मेशन नहीं लिया है. It just passed the VLAN information to other switches like switch 4 जो उस सर्वर का क्लाइंट बनना चाहते हैं, तो उसको जस्ट इंफॉर्मेशन पास कर दिया है. बट स्विच 3 ऑल्सो जो ट्रांसपेरेंट मोड में है वो खुद का VLAN क्रिएट कर सकता है. सो आई एम क्रिएटिंग अ VLAN इन द स्विच 3 व्हिच इज इन द ट्रांसपेरेंट मोड. VLAN 40 नेम मैकेनिकल, VLAN 50 that is name I am giving civil C. So now if you do show VLAN, you can see ट्रांसपेरेंट वाला स्विच का खुद का VLAN क्रिएट हो गया. It does not take the server VLAN information. It passes the server VLAN information and it can create its own VLAN. That's the beauty of the transparent mode switch. That's all for the VTP. VTP actually used to share the VLAN informations from the server to client. And if in between there is transparent switch, it does not take server VLAN information. It just passes the server VLAN information. And if it want, it can create its own VLAN. That's the VTP summary. Tell me, you have any confusion on what? You have any confusion? Just ask. Madhav, you have any confusions? ये सब ऑन है बट कोई क्लास में नहीं सुन रहा है. दैट्स द गोइंग ऑन. Shubhashish, are you listening? Shubhashish Patra?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Is the BTP thing is clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Madhav, are you there? Not there. So I'll not give attendance to Madhav. I have a pen and sheet where I am writing that Madhav. I'm calling the Madhav name many times, but Madhav is on just online, but he is not physically present in front of the computer or laptop. So Madhav is absent.
Excuse me, sir.
Huh?
Sir, I was setting the same thing which you did on the Cisco packet tracer. So on switch 2, actually, like in the same configuration on switch 2, when I set this VTP mode client and the password as well as the domain name, I'm not able to get that VLANs.
हाँ, क्योंकि शशांक तुमने ट्रंक मोड में लिए हो.
सर स्विच 0 का जो पोर्ट था उसको ट्रंक में लिया है.
नहीं, लेट मी गो बैक. स्विच 1 का जो 2 पोर्ट है दोनों को ट्रंक मोड में लेना है और उसको सेव करना है. डू राइट आफ्टर दैट, देन
Okay, sir.
एग्जिट. If you not do, it will not come.
Okay, got it, sir.
You do it again. पहले ट्रंक मोड में लेना है पहले सारे स्विच को. स्विच का सारे इंटरफेस को जो दूसरा स्विच के साथ कनेक्टेड है ट्रंक मोड में लेना है, फिर सेव करना है यूजिंग डू राइट देन एग्जिट। ये चीज पहले करना है एकदम वेरी फास्ट बिफोर यूजिंग द बीटीपी। गॉट माय पॉइंट शशांक?
Yes, sir. I set this up, and I guess it's working.
It will work. Any other query?
No, sir.
Neeraj Nirupam Mohanty, you have any query?
No, sir. I'm doing it with my PC now, so I currently have no
Or you
errors.
have the Cisco packet tracer?
Yes, sir. I had installed it.
Okay. Jyoti Prabha, do you have any confusions? Jyoti Prabha?
No, sir.
So all things are clear. BTP कैसे use करते हैं?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, another time. So I am showing another VTP configurations. So the those who have Cisco packet tracer installed in his laptop or computer. So what I am going to do, I am going to configure a VTP configurations into this topology. We have a switch, let's say. I have a switch.
सर सॉरी सर, नेटवर्क इशू के लिए कुछ बोल नहीं पाया था।
Sorry?
सर माधव बोल रहा हूँ, रिस्पॉन्स नहीं कर पाया नेटवर्क इशू के लिए।
You absent Madhav. I have called you at least 5-6 times.
सर नेटवर्क प्रॉब्लम के लिए।
So be assured that whenever you are being online, be present physically, not just logically. Dhiren Pratap, are you there?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Great. Dinesh Kumar?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Today, Madhav and Abhishek will not get attendance because Abhishek is disturbing again and again by saying, make someone entry, make someone accept. And Madhav I have called many times but not respond. Okay. So I want the VTP configurations. Configuration का topology ऐसा है, switch 1 and I want another switch 2. Switch 1 के साथ let's say 3 device connected, 1, 2, 3 device connected. Switch 2 के साथ with 3 device connected. Okay. You want to make switch 1 as a server and switch 2 as a client. You are going to use 2 VLAN in the server. You want to create 2 VLAN, VLAN 10 and 20. Switch 1 का ये कंप्यूटर और ये कंप्यूटर 10 के अंदर आएगा, ये वाला 20 के अंदर आएगा, VLAN 20। स्विच 2 का ये वाला 10 के अंदर आएगा और दूसरा 20 के अंदर आएगा। So switch 1 में you have to create 2 VLAN 10 and 20, assign PC1 and PC2 of the switch 1 to 10 VLAN, PC3 to 20 VLAN, and switch 2 का PC1 in the 10 VLAN, PC2 in the 20 VLAN, PC3 in the same VLAN, 20 VLAN. So same VLAN client going to use and going to assign to its own connected PC. That's I want to do now. I have shown you using only switch, but now I am going to now connect PC. For that, simple. Just let me delete these configurations. Now what I am going to do, I am going to use switches, 2 switches and 3 PCs into the switch 5, switch 6, 3 PC. Done. Now I am going to connect switch to PCs. Switch to PC I am connecting, and now I am connecting switch 6 to their own PCs, PC3, PC4 and PC5 to switch 6. Done. Now I am going to connect these 2 switches, switch 5 to 6. Okay. Now this PC need to assign IP. All the PC need to assign IP. I am not going to do that. I am just showing you the BTP and VLAN configurations. These 3 PC and these 3 PC of switch 6, PC of switch 5 and PC of switch 6 must have some IPs that you will do. I am not going to configure the IP. I am just going to show you the VLAN configurations. So now what I am going to do, config and I am in switch 5. Now I am going to create VLAN in switch 5. em config from. So as I said, I am going to use the same VLAN information into the switch 6 also. So switch 1 will be, this is here our in case switch 5. Switch 5 is going to, this is, in our case, this is switch 5 and this is switch 6. So let me write it again. This is switch 5, this is switch 6. So switch 5 is going to work as a server, switch 6 is work as a client. So in my configuration, I am making switch 5 as VTP mode server. Going to give a domain name VTP domain IT here. Going to give a password VTP password IT here 1 2 3 that I'm doing in the server switch 5. Now I'm going to create VLAN into the server switch. I'm creating VLAN 10, giving name CSC. Going to create VLAN 20 and giving name IT. Okay. Now I am going to do another thing. These, as I said, this 1020 will be this 12 PC12 of switch 5 will be under VLAN 10 and PC3 will be under VLAN 20 of switch 5. So let's do that. So what you have to do, just let me exit from this interface, select interface, कौन सा PC FA 0/1 and 0/2 of the switch 5. Those are connected with PC0 and PC1. So interface range FA 0/1 to 2, 0/2. That I have selected. That I have to do switch port mode access. Switch port, I have to make it access mode access. That's all. Then switch port access VLAN. So I want to make those switch interface 0/1 0/2 जिसके साथ connected है उन दोनों PC को मैं VLAN 10 के अंदर रखूंगा. That's all. 10 हो गया. Exit from this. Now I am going to select interface FA 0/3. इसको मैं VLAN 20 के अंदर रखूंगा 0/3 जो PC2 के साथ कनेक्टेड है. इसको मैं करूंगा VLAN 20 के अंदर. So switch port mode access, switch port mode access, switch port access VLAN 20. That's all. Exit. Now I am going to use VTP. This is as VTP server, but I am going to use a VTP client also, which will work as a switch 6. Switch 6 will work as a VTP client. So for that, switch 5 का जो trunk, जो port, जो interface switch 6 के साथ connected है, that I have to make trunk mode. So switch 5 का वो port में select करता हूँ. Interface FA 0/4 that I have selected. I am making that as a trunk mode. Switch port mode trunk. Switch port mode access किया था जब VLAN assign कर रहा था. Switch port mode trunk कर रहा हूँ जब मैं VLAN information share करना चाहता हूँ through VTP from server to client. Switch port mode trunk हो गया. Exit. Now मैं switch 5 में हूँ. Let me do a show VLAN here. Do show VLAN. You can see I have created two VLAN 10 and 20. FA 0/1 और 0/2 मैं 10 के अंदर दिया हूँ जो PC1 और PC2 के साथ कनेक्टेड है. 0/1 is connected to PC1, 0/2 is connected to PC2, 0/3 is connected to PC3 जो VLAN 20 के अंदर है. This is done in switch 5. Now the same VLAN information, the 1020, I have want to share into the switch 6. So switch 6 में मैं जाता हूँ. switch 6 का फर्स्ट वर्क इज switch 6 को मैं क्लाइंट स्विच बनाऊंगा. उसके लिए my first work is to make the interface of the switch 6 which is connected to the server switch to the trunk mode. So I'm selecting that interface. Interface FA0/4. Now that I am making as a trunk, switch port mode trunk. हो गया. Do right and exit from here. Okay, just a minute. Switch 5 में जब मैं trunk mode में किया था FA0/4 को मैं do right किया हूँ. I have not done the do right. Let's do again in switch 5. Switch 5 में interface FA0/4. Remember, जब trunk में ले रहा हूँ मैं, that you have to save the configuration using the do right. Otherwise, it will not work. Do switch port mode trunk. And then I have to do right. Done. Exit. So all those are make into the trunk mode. These two interface of switch 5 FA0/4 and switch 6 FA0/4 is make into the trunk. Now switch 6 को मैं client बनाना चाहता हूँ. Just VTP mode client VTP domain, same domain, IT here. VTP password, IT here 123. Done. Now do show VLAN. You can see those VLAN information came into the switch 6, 10 and 20. जो switch 5 में मैं create किया हूँ. But switch 6 में मैं क्या चाहता हूँ? switch 6 में मैं 10 देना चाहता हूँ PC1 को जो switch 6 के साथ connected है और 2020 में देना चाहता हूँ PC2 and 3 को 20 VLAN. So let's do that. Switch 6 में VLAN 1020 आ गया, but you have to assign these PCs into that under that VLAN. So I want this PC will be under VLAN 10 of switch 6 and these two PC4 and PC5 of switch 6 will be under VLAN 20. So how to do that? Just interface FA0/1 जो PC3 के साथ कनेक्टेड है उसको सिलेक्ट करो. Interface FA0/1 selected. Now that port should be, that interface port should be access mode, switch port mode access. Then that port should be access to VLAN, switch port access VLAN 10. That's all. So I want PC3 should be under VLAN 10. तो मैं वही किया. PC3 जिस इंटरफेस के साथ कनेक्टेड है स्विच का FA0/1 उसको एक्सेस मोड में लिया, फिर उसको मैं VLAN 10 के साथ असाइन कर दिया. That's all. Access VLAN 10. Now I want switch 6 का PC4 and PC5. That too will be under VLAN 20. So how to do that? Interface FA same way 0/1 to 2. Now range I am selecting because I am selecting now two interface 0/1 and 0/2 and 0/3 of switch 6. So that's why I am selecting a range. So 0/2 to 3. Sorry, 1 minute. Range FA 0/2 to 3. Selected. That I will
सर
make
3 to 4 होगा शायद.
2 to 3. स्विच 6 का कर रहा हूं 2 to 3 0/2 FA 0/2. सी FA 0/2 0/3 और FA 0/1 के साथ PC3 कनेक्टेड है. PC3 को मैं VLAN 10 के अंदर लिया हूं और मैं चाहता हूं PC4 and 5 FA 0/2 and 0/3 that will be under VLAN 20.
हाँ ठीक है सर.
Is it okay?
Yes sir.
So that's why I have selected that two interface FA 0/2 and 3. उसको सिलेक्ट किया. सिलेक्ट करने के बाद मेरे को एक्सेस मोड में लेना है. स्विच पोर्ट मोड एक्सेस. उस दो पोर्ट को 0/2 एंड 0/3 इन दो पोर्ट को मैं एक्सेस मोड में लिया. लेने के बाद इसको मैं VLAN किसके अंदर असाइन करूंगा 20 के अंदर. That's all. Switch port access VLAN 20. Done. Now exit from here. Do show VLAN. You can see switch 6 का 0/1 जो PC3 0/1 कौन सा है 0/1 है PC3 ये वाला 0/1. इसके साथ 0/1 के साथ PC3 कनेक्टेड है. So PC3 now become under VLAN 10 and PC4 and 5. PC4 and 5 that is 0/2 ये वाला PC4 0/3 ये वाला PC5. So that is now under VLAN 20 of switch 6. That's all. So my task is completed. What I want, मैंने चाहा था स्विच 5 को मैं सर्वर करूंगा जहां पे मैं 10-20 दो VLAN क्रिएट करूंगा. फिर 10 असाइन करूंगा स्विच 5 का PC1 को एंड 10 असाइन करूंगा 10 VLAN स्विच 5 का PC2 को एंड PC3 को VLAN 20. Switch 6 I want as a client. There I want to assign 10 to PC1 and VLAN 20 to PC2 and 3. That's I have completed using VTP. VTP सिर्फ VLAN इंफॉर्मेशन शेयर करता है जो VLAN सर्वर में क्रिएट हुआ है. It does not assign PC to that particular VLAN. वो तुमको खुद उस स्विच में जाके करना पड़ेगा. If you want any PC of that switch under some VLAN, like in switch 6, मैंने FA 0/1 के साथ जो PC कनेक्टेड है, that this PC VLAN 10 के अंदर दिया switch 6 का. So that you have to do manually by using command. So I have selected that interface. I make that interface switch to the access mode. Then I access to VLAN 10 to that switch. That's all. That you have to do manually. But creating VLAN, you will do one time at the server. And rest client will use those VLAN information. That does not need to create it again in the client. VLAN का नाम और जो VLAN का आईडी जो क्रिएट हुआ है वो तुमको दैट आई हैव नॉट डन इन द स्विच 6 में सिर्फ मैं उसको क्लाइंट मोड में लिया, ये जो मैं क्लाइंट मोड में लिया, क्लाइंट मोड में, और उसका डोमेन नेम सेम दिया, पासवर्ड सेम दिया, बस बाय डिफॉल्ट इट विल गेट द VLAN name and ID from the server. But if you want to give a particular PC of that switch to VLAN, that you have to do to each switch. That cannot do using VTP. VTP only share VLAN informations. So that's all. That's all about VTP. So any question came, VTP से दो question आएगा, एक दो question तो आएगा ही. VTP command ही आएगा mainly. Command how to create VTP server, how to create VTP client, how to share the information, what are the command is used. Those command mainly come. So I hope you will can answer those questions. Is it okay? Clear to everyone?
सर
बोलो.
सर स्विच 6 में जो VLAN असाइन किए हैं
हाँ
सर, वो खाली उसको एक्सेस मोड में लेके जो पहले से VLAN क्रिएट किए थे बस उसको असाइन किए हैं.
हाँ, पहले से जो VLAN सर्वर शेयर किया है, सर्वर से जो VLAN आया है, सिर्फ उसको एक्सेस दे दिया उस पोर्ट को, स्विच 6 का उस पोर्ट को मैं उस VLAN में एक्सेस दे दिया. दैट्स ऑल. लाइक ये सर्वर था, इसमें 1020 क्रिएट करके इसको क्लाइंट में ले लिया. तो इसको जब मैं क्लाइंट में ले लिया, इट ऑटोमेटिकली गॉट 1020 VLAN 1020 इन इट्स मेमोरी. नाउ मैंने क्या किया, इसका जो पोर्ट था, लेट्स से दिस इज FA0/1, FA0/1, ये FA0/2, दिस इज 0/3. ठीक है, ये जो 1020 मेरे को आ गया, मैं जस्ट इसको मैं सिलेक्ट किया इंटरफेस FA0/1 ऑफ स्विच 6. देन मैं उसको स्विच पोर्ट, शॉर्ट में लिख रहा हूं, स्विच पोर्ट मोड एक्सेस में लिया. फिर मैं क्या किया, स्विच पोर्ट एक्सेस मैं पहले इंटरफेस FA0/1 सिलेक्ट किया. 0/1 मतलब ये वाला सिलेक्ट किया, मतलब ये वाला पीसी सिलेक्ट हो गया. फिर उसको एक्सेस मोड में लिया, लेके मैं एक्सेस स्विच पोर्ट एक्सेस VLAN, कौन सा VLAN? VLAN 10 and 20 है मेरे पास, जो सर्वर से फ्लोट होके आया है, सर्वर से जो एडवर्टाइज होके आया है, तो मैं उसको मैं VLAN लेट से 10 दे रहा हूं. सो दैट्स ऑल, स्विच पोर्ट एक्सेस VLAN 10. तो ये वाला 10 के अंदर आ जाएगा. सिमिलरली इफ आई वांट टू make it under 20, just I have 10 and 20 VLAN. What you have to do, you have to select interface FA0/2, इंटरफेस FA0/2, उसको मैं 20 के अंदर रखूंगा. सो सिलेक्ट किया, करने के बाद मैं उसको स्विच पोर्ट मोड एक्सेस में ले लिया. फिर मैं उसको स्विच पोर्ट एक्सेस VLAN 20. That's all. FA0/2, ये वाला पीसी FA0/2 ये अभी 20 के अंदर आ गया. नाउ इफ आई वांट टू ये वाला FA0/3 इसको मैं 20 के अंदर रखना चाहता हूँ. सिलेक्ट इट. इंटरफेस
सर वो एक ही बार रेंज में सेलेक्ट
एक ही
करके
बार हो
नहीं
सकता है.
डिस्प्ले
रेंज करके एक ही बार हो सकता है. You can do either using range or this way, but it is better to do using range. Mode access, switch port access, VLAN 20. That's all. बट VLAN क्रिएट मैंने कहा किया था 10 at 20 सर्वर में किया था. जो क्लाइंट यूज कर रहा है उसका पोर्ट को उस VLAN के अंदर असाइन कर रहा है. दैट्स अ डिफरेंट थिंग्स. बट क्रिएटिंग द VLAN जो था जैसे VLAN 10 नेम IT और नेम CSC ये मैंने कहा किया था. ये वाला चीज ये वाला कमांड सिर्फ मैंने सर्वर में एग्जीक्यूट किया था. आई हैव नॉट execute this command into the client. Not. I have just make it as a VTP mode client. This switch make as a VTP mode client switch 6 और उसको मैंने सेम डोमेन नेम दिया VTP डोमेन ITR और उसको मैं पासवर्ड दिया VTP पासवर्ड ITR 123. That's all. ये करने के बाद इसको क्लाइंट में लेने के बाद और सेम डोमेन और पासवर्ड देने के बाद बाय डिफॉल्ट ऑटोमेटिकली ये चीज VLAN 10 20 whatever I will create here it will come here. So I have not execute this command VLAN 10 name CSC VLAN 20 name IT. These I have not execute into the switch 6. Switch 6 automatically get when I make it as a client. Now, any doubt?
No, sir, clear.
Any doubt?